Welcome to Auckland City. It's a real painter's paradise. You've got the water, you've got sailboats, ferries. The ferry building is spectacular. The Sky Point Tower. I have the museum building up behind me, but it looks like the rain and the light is kind of getting the better of us. So I think I'll do this one back in the hotel. Let's see how I go. With this subject, I think the thing that I really liked the most was the backlighting. It creates beautiful silhouettes, but then also it creates a lovely light effect as well. And I think that's the power of a backlit scene. But if you haven't heard, I host an online course on Patreon where we release 4 exclusive videos for our members every month. And you can sign up at the link in the top right hand corner. Anyway, back to the painting. So a lot of times it's steady as we go. That's the best part. And the interesting thing with this scene was I almost thought this shape on top of the rotunda kind of was a little big and stood out a little too much, but really the cast shadow and the almost halo-like shape on the top is really the driving force. That up against the nice dark on the ground level. And the tricky part was not going too dark with that, or it'll sort of look flat and dead. So with most light effects, we're trying to really sort of get the joining of the big shapes. We need to unify that so then the light effect really is portrayed as well as possible. And the other little thing I think that's going to work nicely with this is just to bring there's a fairly big strong branch at the top, and it's probably easier to leave it out, but I think that and also a few leaves, sunlit leaves, that will really sort of create the depth but also really enhance that illusion of light. And because most times it's just placing a light shape in front of a dark shape, and that's pretty well what I'm doing here, just getting those really nice dark shapes in. Not sort of overly concerned if I don't sort of follow the drawing perfectly. It's more about first the value, and most branches will get thinner and thinner the further they go away from the main trunk. So it's always good to start off with a certain thickness. So these little values in here, which are French ultramarine blue and a little bit of alizarin. Actually, it made for a good colour scheme as well, this subject and in this lighting. And I never really painted too many of the backlit scenes, mainly because I thought the painting was going to come out a little cold. And that's the inherent danger and concern, is that we don't get as much colour, natural colour into the painting. So that's where we do need to work fairly hard, fairly diligently on our edges and the tonal contrast. But you can see that light really starting to power through there. So we're needing to get some colour into the shadow so that it's not sort of a grey, dull shape, because that is the other secret to painting depth and light, is to get as much colour into the shadows. So this foliage area is going to be almost a 3-4 go sort of effort, because we're going to need to unify most of the foliage, but then still have some darker and lighter areas. And then we bring in the sunlit foliage areas. And it's really when the sunlight comes in that it really starts to come together. But I kind of knew with this painting at this stage, I knew it was going to work. There's always a period with a painting where you're sort of not sure if the shapes I've got down, the idea that I've chosen is going to work, or how well it's going to work is the ultimate one. Because you can normally make a reasonable painting out of most subjects, but I thought this had a great deal of charm, and I have painted a number of fountains and rotundas over the years, and I think that probably comes from that I actually used to draw them first. I used to love a shape that holds the light beautifully, and you can see how the light on the roof and on the domed area and the light on the grass and the concrete area is going to really resonate beautifully. And it's a decent size as well. It's, if I was back 30, 50 yards and it was a lot smaller, or meters, the whole shape possibly wouldn't work as well. So now we've got that sunlit foliage coming in. So once again, a backlit or this type of light effect is normally governed on the light of the value then up against either the mid-tone or the dark value. So you can see how I'm getting some of those leaves, sunlit leaves, up against that branch that's coming across as well. And I'll need to use these as a directional line as well. So it'll be bringing the eye from that branch down in to the main focal area. So we can see most of the effect there working. Probably the trickiest part is that negative shape of light in the background, in that mid-distance, because it's very easy to make it too strong and have it coming forward too fast. And I'm going to sort of aim to simplify some of this foliage, especially on this right-hand side, because I'll be placing a small figure that technically is walking out of the scene, but I think with the light on the steps and the little bit of light on the leaves and there are a couple of flowers right at the bottom. I'm just pushing that paint around. Notice that it's fairly sort of confident marks, but that confidence really does come from knowing that I've got the right value on the brush, the right colour and the right value. Once I have that, then it's pretty well all systems go. And I'm really sort of starting to get those smaller, more delicate shapes in. That's where I'll definitely go down to the smaller brush. But once again, there's light on the hat, light on the shoulders, a little bit of light on those front steps, as if the figure's just walked from the rotunda and is peacefully walking away. And it's nothing like strengthening those darks that really make the lights stand out. So we've got the shadow in the foreground, and it all comes together beautifully once we unify and then identify some of those little marks.